Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about everything you need to know before playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Our journey begins not with Breath of the Wild as many of you may have thought, but actually with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Although it may not be canon, it still acts like a prequel to Breath of the Wild. The game answers many questions such as, how did the champions die? How did the king die? How did Hyrule get destroyed? How did the champions be chosen to pilot the divine beasts? And so much more. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. Age of Calamity begins with what we know as present-day Breath of the Wild, with a baby guardian who is in danger of being blown up by an adult guardian. However, just before he gets attacked, the baby guardian time travels to the past, to where Link is a Hyrule soldier in training and is preparing for the prophecy of Calamity Ganon's revival. While training, Link and Impa stumble across the baby guardian and a mysterious tower. Shortly after, Link, Zelda, the baby guardian, and Impa seek out Robbie, an ancient technology researcher, and his student Purah, to help get some answers on the baby guardian. This is where they learn about the baby guardian and how it came from an era where Hyrule has fallen to calamity. After discovering this information, the gang knew that they needed to act quickly. They needed to find the legendary sword, work on the 4 divine beasts, and find pilots for them. Link would go with Zelda as her knight to help her find these 4 candidates. Their first stop, Zora's domain, where they would find a pilot for the divine beast Vah-Ruta, Mipha, a Zora who has the power to heal others' wounds. But before recruiting her, we find out that the Zora prince Sidon has encountered a Lynel. After Link and the gang save him, the Zora King grants Mipha the role as a Divine Beast pilot. The next trip was to Goron City to seek out the pilot for the Divine Beast Vah-Rudania, Daruk, a Goron with the power to protect and repel even the mightiest of blows. To which, after getting the Divine Beast out of Death Mountain, the Goron happily accepted the role as a pilot. The next location would be the Rito settlement, to find somebody to pilot Vah Medoh. The perfect candidate would of course be the none other than Revali himself, a Rito with the ability to soar in the wind like no other. After Revali came to and realized that Link was not an intruder, he arrogantly agreed to be the pilot. And finally, for their last pilot, the one who would pilot Vah Naboris. Link, Zelda, and the others would visit the Gerudo Desert. However, they would not have to search far because Zelda already knew who the clear choice for the pilot would be. Her close friend and chief of the Gerudo, Urbosa, a powerful woman with the ability to harness lightning. Unfortunately, while doing so, they find Master Koga, leader of the Yiga clan, impersonating Urbosa. After the Yiga clan flees, Urbosa agrees to pilot Vah Naboris. With all 4 pilots for each of the divine beasts, they train to prepare for the calamity, even Princess Zelda, who is learning how to bring out her dormant sealing power. With time growing short, both the princess and the king are beginning to worry that Zelda will not be able to master her ability before the time is up. Not long after, the Yiga clan makes another appearance. This time, they ambush and attack Hyrule Town, with the intent of killing the princess. Once they've been beaten, they flee once again. Following the ambush, the king would order the pilots and Link to seek out the legendary sword. The sword resides in Korok Forest, but they would have to vanquish all monsters who guard it and find a knight who would yield it. Upon arrival to the forest, the gang meets Hestu, who helps guide them through the Lost Woods. Once they reach the pedestal where the legendary sword sleeps, they are blocked by a mysterious figure. This figure has been watching them for quite some time. He creates calamity replicas of the pilots, and amidst the battle, the legendary sword awakens from its slumber. Link is able to release it from the pedestal and fend off the attacker. After the battle, the Deku Tree awakens and informs the group about the legendary Master Sword and how it chose Link to become its wielder. With the Master Sword in hand, the group returns back to Castletown, to where the princess continues to learn how to awaken her true power. During a ceremony hosted by the king, Link and the other heroes are named champions. After this ceremony, Robbie informed the group that the mysterious tower from earlier was called the Sheikah Tower. These towers can be activated via this Sheikah Slate. The mysterious figure, who we now know is working with the Yiga clan, had gotten word about the Sheikah technology. It is also revealed that there is another baby guardian who is possessed by the Calamity Ganon. During this time, Link and the others have been searching for the Sheikah Towers and activating them. With this goal accomplished, they sought out the Yiga hideout to stop Master Koga. After Koga's defeat, the team yet again returns to Castletown. Upon their arrival, Impa discovers that the Calamity will strike on Zelda's next birthday. With that being the case, the king has demanded that Zelda awakens her new power, and sends her to the Spring of Courage to train more, which she does and briefly learn how to use her power. Realizing this, she continued to the Spring of Wisdom with hopes to learn more. But before she could take off, the baby guardian fled to Zelda holding the Sheikah Slate in hand. The baby informed the princess that something had happened at the research lab. Whatever happened caused the Calamity to plague the castle. As a result, all the Sheikah towers were deactivated and Calamity took over the guardians. One of the now cursed guardians tried to attack Zelda, however, her father saved her. Upon seeing what happened to both his castle and the guardians, he ordered Link to bring Zelda to safety. While defending his castle from the Calamity, the king would meet his ultimate demise. Or so it would seem. Impa informs Zelda that not only did the guardians and the castle fall to Calamity, but so did the divine beast. It is at this point that all seems lost. Now this is where things can get a bit confusing. There is sort of a split in the timeline. In one timeline you have the events of Age of Calamity. In the other timeline you have the events of Breath of the Wild. In this second timeline, many allies fall, including the champions. This is not the same for Age of Calamity's timeline. So, for the sake of this video, we're going to continue with the Age of the Calamity timeline, and then we'll take a rewind later to go back to Breath of the Wild's timeline. Each of the champions are defending their divine beast from Ganon. Both Daruk and Mipha are about to fall, until an older Prince Sidon and a Goron by the name of Yunobo appear, saving them from a devastating blow. After the defeat of the Water Blight and Fire Blight Ganons, the champions reclaim their divine beasts, and explain that both Sidon and Yunobo are from the future. After this, the team hurries over to Revali and Urbosa's aid to take back their divine beasts as well. We see a similar scene to where both Urbosa and Revali have been backed into a corner by Thunderblight and Windblight Ganon, only for two more time-traveling allies to aid in their fight. This time, Tiba the Rito, Riju the Gerudo, and Patricia the Sandseal. After some exhausting battles, the team reclaims the two fallen beasts. Not long after, we learn that the mysterious figure from the forest has betrayed the Yiga clan. With the divine beast back under control, they head to reclaim the fallen lands of Hyrule. They begin at the Citadel, then onto Fort Hateno. Soon, Link, Impa, and Zelda are stopped by the mysterious figure from the forest again. This time, he brings the four Blight Ganons from before. Impa and Zelda flee, leaving Link to defend himself. But this triggers Zelda's hidden ability and steals away the Calamity replicas. After this small victory, they head back to Castletown to devise a plan to defeat the Calamity Ganon and reclaim Castletown. Zelda, Impa, and a castle guard are walking around Hyrule Field, where the guard reveals himself as Master Koga. However, this time he's not here to fight, but only to be an ally for the champions. Zelda gets news of her men having a fierce battle at the Great Plateau and needs aid. She, along with the champions, find their way to the Temple of Time. This is where Zelda finds her father, and he's alive. He explains that it was all because of a relic she had given him, which was actually an ancient shield. After finding the king alive, the whole Hyrulean army would gather to take back the castle. Unfortunately, while doing so, the blood moon rises to the sky, bringing all the fallen foes back to life. The mysterious figure from the forest and the baby guardian who is possessed by Calamity reveal themselves and attack the Hyrulean forces. After a long fought battle, the mysterious figure had been defeated. Ganon had then corrupted Link's baby guardian, causing him to attack the princess. But Link defeated him. We learned that this guardian was one that Zelda had built when she was a child, but was taken away from her father in hopes that Zelda would take her training more seriously as a child. This death of the baby guardian, now known as Teriko, sparked Zelda into a fury to take down Ganon once and for all. Using her new sealing power, she goes head to head with Ganon, only for Teriko to send himself into Ganon and self-destructing. Yet this did not stop Ganon. The team continued to fight until Link weakened him with the Master Sword and Zelda finally sealed him away. And with this, the team finally came to a victory and saved the land of Hyrule, sending those who came back to the future to their own timeline. Before we get into Breath of the Wild, let's recap a few things that we learned in Age of Calamity. We learned how and why each champion was chosen, how Zelda and the others found the resting place for the Master Sword, and how the champions and the king all fell to the Calamity. This is all important and relevant information that Breath of the Wild does not thoroughly cover like Age of Calamity does. Now, onto Breath of the Wild. Chronologically speaking, most of Breath of the Wild's cutscenes take place before Link ends up in the Shrine of Resurrection. They actually take place when Zelda and Link are seeking out the 4 champions to pilot the Divine Beast. After gathering the 4 champions, Link spends a little bit of time with each of them learning more about their abilities and their Divine Beasts. And after Link spends time with these pilots, Zelda and Link approach the Springs of Wisdom and Courage to learn how to awaken Zelda's power. However, with Zelda having no success, Ganon finally awakens and releases the Calamity. Link and Zelda run to the castle while the champions go to their respective Divine Beasts. At this point, we find out that everything was taken over by Calamity. From what we know of Age of Calamity, all the champions fell to the Blight Ganons. During this battle, a Guardian is about to attack Link and Zelda when Zelda suddenly shoots a blast of light from her hand. Unfortunately, the blast hit Link, causing him to fall. The Master Sword glows. This shows Zelda that Link can be saved. With this information, she orders some Sheikah men to take Link to the Shrine of Resurrection before he dies. She brings the Master Sword back to its resting place in the Lost Woods, promising that Link will return. 100 years passed when Link awakens to Zelda's voice in the Shrine of Resurrection. Link, who cannot remember anything that had happened to him, grabs the Sheikah slate and Zelda tells him to save Hyrule. On his journey, Link meets an old man who gives him a paraglider. This man teaches him how the towers, shrines, and the Sheikah slate work. Shortly after, the man reveals himself as Zelda's father, the King of Hyrule. He informs Link about the Calamity Ganon, the princess, the Divine Beast, the champions, and the fall of Hyrule. Link's journey then leads him to Impa, who explains to him how the Divine Beast came to be. Shortly after meeting Impa, he finds himself with an older Prince Sidon, recalling memories of Mipha. Link defeats the Water Blight Ganon and obtains Mipha's grace from her spirit. With her grace, he is able to take control of the Divine Beast Vah Ruta and make his way to Death Mountain. There, Link finds Yunobo and notices a statue of Daruk, which causes him to recall memories of him. After the recollection, he is able to calm Vah Rudania. He climbs aboard to defeat the Fireblight Ganon and reclaims the Divine Beast. After the fight, Daruk's spirit grants Link with Daruk's protection. Link's next stop would then be the Rito village. Here, he recalls meeting Revali on a Rito perch. He then makes his way to the Rito trading grounds, where he meets Tiba, Revali's heir. Tiba aids Link with mounting Vah Meadow. While aboard, Link makes his way through the Divine Beast to meet with the Windblight Ganon. Link is able to defeat this Ganon in a difficult battle. After the battle, he meets with Revali's spirit, who grants Link with Revali's Gale. The final stop on Link's journey is the Gerudo Desert. Here, Link sneaks into the Gerudo village to meet Riju. This is where he recalls memories of Urbosa and Zelda's relationship. Link is then able to calm Vah Navarus and climb aboard. He puts the Thunderblight Ganon to arrest and takes back the Divine Beast. With the Thunderblight Ganon's defeat, Urbosa's spirit grants Link with Urbosa's Fury. Now with that, all 4 beasts are back under the control of Hyrule. Link makes his way to the Lost Woods to reclaim the legendary Master Sword. The Great Deku Tree greets Link and explains that he was the hero who once wielded the sword. After his fall, the princess brought the sword back here, promising that Link would return. With immersed strength, Link draws the sword once again. With the legendary Master Sword in his hand and the 4 Divine Beasts back under control, Link sets out for Hyrule Castle. Once he arrives, the Divine Beasts, along with the spirits of the champions, launch a devastating attack on Ganon. This attack greatly weakens him. It is up to Link to finish him off. Link lands his final attack and Ganon explodes, catapulting himself into Hyrule Field. This wasn't the end of Ganon though. Ganon has now assumed his true enraged form, Dark Beast Ganon. Zelda bestows the Bow of Light to Link. This weapon is one of the only weapons that is able to harm Ganon in this form. In the final, most desperate moments of the battle, Zelda appears using her newly awakened power to seal the Calamity away. Following Ganon's defeat, Link and Zelda plan to visit Zora's domain as Vah Ruta has stopped working. Zelda would also like to deliver the news of Mipha's fate to her father. There would be much more to do to rebuild Hyrule in its former glory. Zelda even talks about expanding the kingdoms, which could be a hint about the new land in the sky in Tears of the Kingdom. With this information, we can assume that Tears of the Kingdom will start off with Link and Zelda fixing up Vah Ruta and expanding the Kingdom of Hyrule to the skies and above. But with that, our journey comes to an end. You are now caught up on everything you need to know before playing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, as I plan to do many more Zelda videos. I might even stream myself playing Tears of the Kingdom. Well, with all that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day today.